Welcome, Alex, to the podcast. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. I would love for you to just start off by sharing a little bit about who you are and what it is that you do.
Yeah, lovely. So I am the Money Queen, and where that has come from, my love of money has been, I started out as an accountant. Don't judge me. Everyone who meets me.
Looking at the video that you don't look like an accountant anymore. So anyone listening to this on Spotify, just jump over to YouTube for a second and check her out.
But it's so interesting, right? The labels that get placed on you when I say I'm an accountant, they're like, but you have a personality. I don't understand. And that's actually a beautiful, selling point essentially to me now, to be like, I started out as an accountant, did that for 4.5 years, created a bookkeeping company off the back of that, had that for 6 years, sold out of that, literally walked away from that business. And then now I've moved into the coaching space in money coaching and business mentoring, because I've been in business for about 8 years now. And the sweet spot that I found myself in now is actually really beautifully balancing the masculine and the feminine experience and expertise that I've had in my life and my career to date, of going the masculine in the systems, the structure, the support, the ATO compliance of my accounting and bookkeeping background, and now the business coaching and mentoring and money coaching. And that brings in the feminine essence of leading people, mentoring people, guiding them into like, what's the wealthiest version of yourself? What does your dream life actually fucking look like? What do you need to embody to actually be truthful in how you're in the program that you're selling, or the version of you that's showing up right now? What is actually the block, or the various money blocks that are stopping you from leading into the wealthiest version of yourself and actually having the life that you fucking desire? So having that sweet spot of the masculine and the feminine, and being able to really hold women in that space and elevate them so that they can actually allow themselves to be like, oh, I can dream. Oh, I can speak up. Oh, I can get out from the back corner. Oh, I can, open up my legs to start receiving money in my world. I don't need to always be the good girl in the back fucking corner. No, like that's how society has told us to be quiet, to, don't speak unless spoken to. You're not able to generate wealth for yourself. Why the fuck not? Right? So it's really, my mission is to get more money into the hands of women, because I believe that money goes further when it's in the hands of women. And think about it from a genetics point of view. We are literally born to fucking multiply people. Give us sperm, we will create a goddamn baby, for Christ's sake, right? So you give us money, we will amplify it. So let's get more money into the hands of women. That is what I'm here to do. That is what I am doing, and adding some sass along the way, because why the fuck not?
I just got goosebumps, like major goosebumps as you were saying that. And I fucking love your analogy. We were like, open my legs to more money. Like, let's make it sexy. Let's make it fun and playful, and that we do amplify it. Give me some sperm and I'll make a baby.
But it's facts. It is facts. Like, you give us something, like we are so fucking resourceful in any way, shape or form. I remember when my mother, when I was growing up, we didn't have much money growing up, but what we did have, she made it last so much further than what my dad, God rest his soul, would have done, because he would have just been like, oh, this is what I've got, full stop, right? But my mother is like, okay, this is what we've got. How can we utilize it the best? How can we, scrape this $5 to make it last an entire week, because we don't get paid again until Thursday, right? So women are so much more resourceful than men, and it's a fucking fact. Yeah. So let's get more money into the hands of women so the population can fucking rise.
I think that now everyone's ears are like spiked up going, all right, tell me more, Alex. Yeah. And the reason I wanted to get you onto this podcast right now, in this moment, in this season of business and life, is that I'm hearing a lot of conversations around the lack of resources supposedly in the world right now due to this quote unquote recession that is kind of coming our way. And we were in DMs, we were talking about it, and, I could tell we were getting fired up together having this conversation. I said, let's bring this onto the podcast because other people need to hear it. Every single day, I'm hearing people on social media talking to me, clients that are talking to me saying, oh, but it's just because of the recession. It's because people aren't buying right now. People aren't spending. So I'd love for you to speak into that topic and what your thoughts are on that right now.
Yeah. So recession, every time I hear it, I'm just like, they're next, right? I don't want to be a part
of it. I rolled, everyone, just in case you can't see. Yeah. I rolled twice.
Yeah. I just don't want to be a part of the conversation, because is it ignorant bliss? Perhaps. But also, is it intentional living? My belief, absolutely fuck yes. Because, think back to the C word in the last couple of years, the media went fucking nuts over it. And so did the rest of the world, right? And we just shut down and we were so fearful of what was happening in our world. And everyone just went into this downward spiral, right? I heard something on the news the other day, and it was like, there's actually more cases in the world right now than what there was in the height of it. Do you hear about it in the media? No, right? So let's use that example to this now recession in inverted commas, right? What is actual current reality versus what are we being fed, right? Because we have the choice about what we consume. I literally do not subscribe to any fucking news articles because I want to be intentional about what I bring into my world, right? And I choose to live in love and abundance. The opposite of that is fear and scarcity. So many people choose to subscribe to that shit and therefore have the excuse, the mindset, the mentality being on that train of like, there's just not enough clients in the world. There's no money going around. Money isn't fucking owned, right? It's not mine. It's not yours. It's not the bank's. It's a free flowing energy based on the value that you exchange, right? And people who are saying like, oh, there's just no clients in the market. It's like, well, have you changed your messaging? Do you need to actually level up your branding? Are you actually speaking to an outdated audience, right? Let's actually unpack what your block is right now, as opposed to just allowing this recession to be a fucking excuse. Because there are so many opportunities available to you right now, but are you open to seeing them? Because if you just allow this excuse to be a thing and be like, oh, it's just the recession, like there's just no clients for everyone, cool, that's a full stop. It's like, yes, is there tightening in the markets right now? Is the cost of living going up? Yes, that's facts, right? But is there also a lot of money still being generated and flowing through the world? Absolutely. And my point to this is there's actually so much more opportunity in this space right now, because the people who are getting on board that fear train, they are leaving opportunities. They are saying no to things and creating space for other people to come in and capitalize on that, right? There's a shitload of millionaires that are made in recessions because they're sitting on the outskirts, on the outliers, waiting for the people to jump on that fear train to create opportunities, and they are geared up, ready to jump when they get onto that train, right? So my question to you is, are you jumping on board that fear train, or are you actually sitting on the sidelines going, okay, I'm seeing what's happening here, and I've got a game plan ready to jump? And I'll give you an example in my world recently. I just hired a VA a couple of weeks ago. She's a unicorn and I fucking love her, right? She has exactly what I need. The only reason that she was available to take me on board is because some of her other clients have reduced her hours because of the cost of living and, because of the recession, essentially. And I'm like,
they were on the fear train.
Exactly. And I'm sitting on the outskirts.
Getting on the fear train.
I'm sitting on the outskirts going, I know that I need support right now. Allowing someone into my world who is a unicorn is a wealth barrier for me, and I'm choosing to lean into that. She just came into my world and I was like, shit, you have exactly what I need right now to move through this wealth barrier of mine. Here's this opportunity that's been created because her other clients have gone onto this fear train. I swoop in, I get this fucking unicorn in my world, and now I can go gangbusters because I've got exactly what I need in my world to rise.
And it's an opportunity for her too, even though that client left her. And this is important for people to think about too. You might have clients that leave you, but there's also equally clients out there like yourself who are looking for those opportunities and looking at this process as it's just a shift in energy. Like you say, there's just as many opportunities, but some people are stepping away out of fear, and that opens up a space for us to step into.
Yeah.
I love 100%. That.
Yeah.
And I think that this is the conversation that needs to be had right now for people who are willing to start shifting their mindset. How do we start getting out of that fear space? How do we get off the fear train? Say we're on the fear train. We bought a fucking one-way ticket. We got on the fear train. We're like, oh, recession. And we're struggling to change that because maybe our partner is also on that fear train. And, we still have the news on, or, the people that we surround ourselves with are still on that train. What do we do? Do we jump off the train and hope for the best, or what?
Yeah. A couple of parts to this. It's essentially, it comes down to auditing, and boring word, but stay with me. Auditing, like the relationship that you're in. If you're in a partnership, having a conversation with your partner to be like, where are you at in relationship to this? Where am I at in relationship to this? And having that honest conversation to be like, I know I'm on the fear train right now, and it kind of feels icky and I want to get off it, but I just don't know how to. See what your partner comes back at you with, to be like, he might be in the exact same position, but he may have been too fearful to come to you to say exactly the same thing. Once you actually can meet each other in that same place, then you can move forward and actually move forward powerfully with honesty and truth, to be like, okay, we've now met each other and now we can move forward, as opposed to you both being on the fear train, a couple of carriages apart, and not knowing that you're both on there and that you both actually want to fucking get off, right? Also too, your environment. Check out, like, who are you allowing yourself to be around? The news and the media, for instance, when you're driving in your car, do you have the radio on just by default? Turn it off, put a podcast on. Heck, don't even have anything on, and allow yourself the space to be with your mind, as scary as it sounds. And then really looking at and understanding, where is actually all my money going? Because that is a huge, huge wealth barrier that I see with a lot of my clients. I ask them, how much do you pay for your mortgage? How much do you pay for your rent? How much do you pay for your groceries? If you can't tell me like that, I'm like, there's no clarity there. There's no certainty there, right? And the first thing that I do in auditing clients essentially is look at their subscriptions to start with. Guaranteed, there's at least $100, if not $200 or more a month that clients are like, oh, I haven't used that program in ages, or like, I used that when I had this in my business and it's not actually there anymore, so it's not actually relevant. Okay, let's cut that out. Like, we don't actually need that in our world anymore. Even, you know, the Netflix subscriptions and Stan, do you actually watch all of them?
Do you watch Netflix and Binge and Prime and Disney and all of the channels that you have now? It used to just be Netflix. Yeah,
exactly. Like, there's so many available to us. And are they actually adding value to your world? Right? That is a key question. Are they adding value to your world? And you can apply that to the relationship conversation. Is it adding value to me right now in hiding my truth from my partner, in this environment, in buying into the media and, you know, listening to the radio whilst I'm driving, or turn the TV on the first thing when I wake up? Is that adding value to my life right now? Or is that just adding more shit into my world and clogging up my brain space? What's the truth in that, right? So radically honest conversations along with an audit to go, what is actually happening in my world? Where do I not have clarity? And how can I achieve that? Because you cannot move through what you cannot see. And being able to have that clarity and seeing what your current reality is literally the first step. But it's huge for some people because they're so scared of what that actually is. Because 9 times out of 10, they're going to get a slap in the face.
Yes, but when you get a slap in the face, then you have an awareness of what you can actually do something about. You can't do anything about it unless you know what there is to do.
Exactly. And then, like, awareness precedes choice, right? So the slap in the face is the awareness. And then you're like, you get up off the ground and you're like, oh, shit, all right, now what's my choice, right? How am I going to move forward intentionally so that I can buy my ticket off this train and start to take the steps towards the exit door, right? What does that look like for me?
Yeah, I love this. And I think that if you just want to go back and listen to this podcast, that might also help you start to shift your own energy around this. Say someone is in business that they have an awareness that money is not coming in as easily. Like, there's facts, it's right in front of them. And that's where they've kind of got their evidence base for, okay, this recession is impacting my business though. Like, Alex, it's really impacting my business. What would you say to them?
Yeah, I would say that, earlier message, right? How are you showing up? Because money is literally energy. And so if you are like what I'm dressed in right now, I made an intentional choice to wear this. Why? Because I embody the wealthiest version of myself when I put this lingerie on, when I put this jacket on, when I paint my nails, when I put this lipstick on. So the energy that I am bringing now to this podcast is completely different. I was wearing a beige shirt just before, and I'm like, yeah, it's a nice shirt.
I don't believe you'd ever wear a beige shirt, Alex.
I'll send you a photo.
You are not a beige accountant.
Right? It's a beautiful t-shirt, but it's not the energy that I wanted to bring to this conversation, to this experience, because I'm like, I know that I'm going to be talking to my ideal client right now, and I want to bring my energy and my vibration to be able to be in alignment with that person and to bring them into my world, right? Because it's a frequency thing, right? we can only attract what we are. So if we are not embodying and actually in alignment with who we want to call forward into our world, they simply will pass us by. So checking in with yourself and what energy that you are bringing to the table when you wake up of a morning, and fuck, even when you go for a walk of an afternoon, chuck some lipstick on. Why not, right? Raise your vibration so that the vibration that you want to come into your world will be attracted to you. Because
this is something you do every month, isn't it? You actually have like a set aside amount of money to have, what do you call it?
My monthly wealth upgrade.
Your monthly wealth upgrade, because I saw, you shared your sunnies. I can't remember what some of the other things are, but I love that idea. Can you share with everyone what that's about and why that's important in terms of your frequency?
Yeah, 100%. That comes from the concept of in my intentional spending, I spend things on things that I absolutely love and things that I need, as opposed to a lot of the population spend things on things that they like and things that they want, right? So the vibration of like and want is very much transactional and like, oh, I like this necklace, cool, I'm going to get it. Oh, I want this purse, cool, I'm going to get it, right? And then you come to the end of month and you're like, fuck, where is this money coming from for my tax bill? Where the fuck can I, like, an unexpected bill comes in and you're like, shit, I don't have any money, right? Because you spent all your money on the things that you like and the things that you want, as opposed to operating in your spending patterns in things that you absolutely love and the things that you need. When you spend in things that you need, your basic desires are met: food, shelter, water, those sorts of things, right? And then having some key items, and for me, it's once a month I buy for my wealthy upgrade. I'm so intentional about what I buy, and I look forward to each month to be like, oh, what am I going to upgrade right this month, right? At the start of July last year, I wrote out a list of 12 things that I'm like, these things will level me up in my world. On it was sunglasses, a wallet, a new bag, a podcast mic, some new nail polishes, a 1 month in South Australia, just things that I was like, for South Australia, for instance, I'm like, that is really expensive to me. In my world right now, I'm like, that is a stretch. Some people, they may be like, oh, Adelaide, like that's nothing. But for me in my current world, I was like, yeah, that's a stretch. And even 2 years ago, when I actually met you, Perth was a huge stretch for me because I'd had this story that Perth is really expensive because it's on the other side of Australia. And everyone just says like, it's a huge cost to go there. Everything's really high because there's a mining population there and everything's really expensive. So I bought into that story. It was not until I actually booked the flights to do my NLP where I met you that I was like, oh, this is fine, right? So coming back to my wealthy upgrades, it's, what can I look forward to that I'm going to absolutely love as opposed to transactionally like and need? Because every time, I guarantee you, I put my sunnies on, I'm like, I feel $1 million right now. I show up differently. Right now, listening to myself talking through this podcast mic, I'm like, this sounds fucking great, right? This is a new version of myself. And I want to create a podcast sometime this year. And so I'm like, this is an elevated version of myself. And I get to experience myself in this different level version. If I went out and bought a $20 podcast mic, I guarantee the sound in my ears right now would not be as crisp right now if I just bought a shithouse one just for the sake of buying it because I liked something or I wanted it. Right? I've been thinking about this for months, right? And everything, when I had an experience a couple of weeks ago, and I actually had 3 or 4 items on that I was wearing or that I had with me that were on my wealthy upgrade. And I was like, oh, I love this. Like I went and brought my sunnies and I put them on. I was like, I love this. When I picked up my wallet and I was like, oh, this is just such a luxe wallet. And I was like, oh, my bag. Oh my God, I love my bag as well. So
and you get to wear them and use them every day.
Exactly. And to my earlier point about the frequency, if I just had cheap servo sunnies, if I had, I don't know, a shitty brand wallet and like a $20 bag, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's just the standard that I accept. I accept this subpar shit in my world, right? I know that I can afford it, but I'm not allowing myself to say yes to that. Like, how can you say yes to your yes? This is my version of saying yes to my yes. I want to be the wealthiest version of myself. How can I incorporate that in my world in a transitional way that actually allows me to level up every month without it being this huge like investment in time, money, and energy to actually incrementally grow?
Have you read Rachel Rodgers' book, We Should All Be Millionaires? I'm assuming you would have.
It's in the cabinet over here.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm
love
like,
it.
I feel like you would absolutely have read that book.
Yes.
And it's one of the things she speaks about that I remember in that book is doing something every day that makes you feel $1 million because you then show up differently. So it's asking that question, what would make me feel $1 million? And then you just said that, you know, around the sunnies, when I put them on, it makes me feel $1 million. And when you feel like that, it just totally changes your energy. We were just having this conversation before I hit record about how like my hair right now, and if you're watching the video, you can see I've got the worst fucking regrowth and got a hair appointment tonight. And I've been wearing bandanas for like the last 10 days because every day when I wake up and I'm like, oh, and so now I know, okay, so we need to make it a week less between hair colors, but actually my hairdresser was away for a week. So that's part of the reason it's a bit longer. And it does really impact the way you feel if you don't feel $1 million based on what you've done for yourself. And sometimes that means investing money in what you desire and what you love. And I love just the change in language, because as we know from doing NLP, the language changes the energy. And so thinking about just that, like I feel even just for myself, taking that away as a shift. I've been doing some money mindset stuff myself. As you know, this is a constant work in progress for me. And
for everyone, inclusive of myself.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
And I still think about what we need versus what I want, right? And I think just for me, going need to love, like what are the things I need? Yes, of course, those are the things I need. But what is it that I love rather than what I want? Because want still has a different energy behind it, right? What do you think about the word want?
Yeah, it's still desperate to me. Like it's that, oh, I really want this. Yeah, exactly. It's like, give it to me. I really want this. As opposed to like, I love this. I love this. As opposed to, I want that. Give that to me. Like, I want that. It's
yeah, it's got a more desperate energy behind it, doesn't it? When 100%. You want something. And especially if we think about in business, when we're coming from a place of desperation, how do people react?
So yeah.
They're like, ugh, she's desperate. I don't want to be a part of that energy.
Absolutely. Yeah. And coming back to the vibration point earlier, if you go into a, you know, a sales call, for instance, or any type of presentation in that want energy, people are going to feel that. Hence the outfit change from my beige shirt to this, because I'm like, this is the wealthiest version of myself. I know that my energy literally shifts when I put this on. I'm like, I feel amazing right now. And that's how I want to show up.
This is going to be the one podcast that everyone goes to YouTube for. And it's the one podcast where my hair looks the shittest. We've just talked about like the video version of this so many times. Everyone's going to go, I have to go there now. So, you know, you're welcome, YouTube. Okay. So if someone's listening to this right now and they're thinking, I know that I have a lot of money mindset work to do. And right now I feel really like pushed up against this recession stuff. What would be one really crucial place to start in, first of all, in life and then in business? I feel like I know what you're going to say, but I'm just like, let's see if I get it right.
Yeah. Honesty.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. Like, because as I said earlier, like awareness precedes action. If you literally sit there going, I don't have any money shit, my money world's fine. Or like, yeah, my money world, like you're so tight right now, but I just have no idea what to do, full stop. Right. As opposed to, I know that I have money blocks because everyone has it. And as I said to you earlier, like I have money blocks as well, right? A few of them have come up to me in the last couple of weeks. I'm like, cool, excellent. I get to expand here. Are my money blocks different to yours? Absolutely, because I'm not a carbon copy of you. And being human in that so matters, because it's like, what's my current reality? Am I willing to face off with that so that I can actually give it life, give it energy, give it attention to move through it, right? And so personally, it's realizing, where are you actually at? Where are you at?
Get brutally honest with yourself. Like,
absolutely.
Stop hiding from it. It's there. Even if you're a money queen.
Yeah.
You've been wearing a crown, Alex. Oh, that would be so
I've been looking for a good one. I haven't found one yet.
Well, you need one that you love, right?
Exactly.
Not just one you want.
And I'm all about unique things. So as soon as and that's, you know what, that's a really fucking great point, right? Because I'm like, I don't want to just buy something that's run of the mill and stock standard. I know that I love unique things. So I'm like, I'm willing to forego having a crown on right now, even though I call myself the money queen, until I find one that I'm like, I fucking love that. I need that in my world. I fucking love that. And that's going to be in my world. And then I'm like, full body, fuck yes. Here's my money, take my money. But until I find one that I'm like, oof, yes, it's a full body fuck yes from me, I'm happy to go without, because I don't just want shit in my world. I don't want clutter. That doesn't feel clean to me.
You don't want the queen with the shit crown.
No, right? I want a unique one. One that's like, oh, I haven't seen that before. Yeah, you haven't, right? I'm different.
Yes. Yeah, I love that. I feel like we digressed from the topic. What were we talking about? Oh, yeah, honesty. Getting really honest with yourself in business and in life.
Yes. What was the start of that question?
I think it was, what's the good starting point? And the answer was honesty. What I thought you were going to say was awareness. And I think that the honesty is what gives the awareness. So that's before the awareness, because you do need to get honest with yourself before you can be aware of what it is that's really going on for you.
Yeah.
And that, I think, comes back to what you mentioned earlier, and almost like that masculine side of things to start with, by looking at what's coming in, what's going out, what's actually happening there. And then noticing, is it like, that the thoughts and the emotions around it, is that where you would start with to get honest?
Yeah, 100%. And because it's if you have no idea with what's coming in and what's going out, and to that point, if you just celebrate all the money that's coming in, and actually when money goes out, you're like, oh, fuck, I really didn't want to pay that, or I have to pay that. Okay, here's my money. That's actually a money block right there, because it's like the cycle of money, that money flows. Like, money in itself is a masculine energy, and the ability to receive it is feminine, right? So think about masculine and feminine. You have your legs open and shut, being feminine, and then the masculine penetrates your world, i.e. dick, vagina, like we make babies, we multiply, we amplify, right? Hence my sperm comment from earlier. The masculine comes into our world, and we
coming full circle now.
Yeah, exactly.
Coming full circle. Okay.
Pun intended. Oh gosh.
I think we're just going to go off on tangents. We're also both manifesting generators. Sorry, not sorry.
Not at all. This is us. Where are we at with? Now I've lost my train of thought. Masculine, feminine. Yep. Money. Oh, yes. The flow of money, right? Yeah. So if you're only celebrating when money comes into your world, and actually being like, oh God, I hate this when money goes out of your world, you're disrespecting the flow of money, because it comes in and it goes out. And that is how it is meant to work to actually flow more abundantly into your world. If you're just like, awesome, yes, I just want a new client. Boom. I have to now pay my mortgage. Fuck this. The energy, the universe, going a bit woo-woo here, then the universe goes, oh, cool. Like, so you're celebrating when money comes in, but when you go out, you fucking hate it. Like, I don't understand. The message that I'm receiving is like, you love it and you hate it. You love it and you hate it. I don't actually know which one you want to do right now, or what you want me to do with this, because you're giving me mixed signs. I don't know which is your truth. Yeah. So if you can allow yourself to actually lean into celebrating when money comes into your world, and also when it goes out in your world, because if you think about it, the fact that you have money there to be able to give to someone else, to contribute to someone else's financial prosperity, is actually an abundant place to be. So can you shift your languaging and your emotions attached to when you actually pay your bills, and even to the large corporations, because there are people behind that. Yes. Some people have that huge block to be like, oh, fuck, I hate paying Telstra, for instance. Telstra employs hundreds of thousands of people, right? Think about the people behind the brand. Yes.
And it's a place of gratitude, isn't it? You've just reminded me of something that I used to do that I've no longer been doing since I got a new phone. And I didn't realize until you just said that. So thank you. I'll remind myself and you, and I'll tell you what that is. Yeah. I have it set up, or I had it set up so that I would get reminders or notifications on my phone when money comes in and money goes out, because you can set that up. And it used to just remind me to have that moment of gratitude, because it would come up, it would tell me I have an awareness of money that's going in and out, but also it gives me the opportunity to go, I'm so grateful that I can afford to pay for that. Because it might be an automatic payment. I don't even realize until I get the notification, but I have the awareness and I can choose to be grateful. So that can be a simple, practical thing for people to do, is just switch on those notifications to get the awareness and to practice the gratitude every single time money flows, whether it's flowing in or whether it's flowing out.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think with that, like having a little gratitude statement that is in full truth to you, that you can repeat to yourself to say, and why I'm intentional when I say in full truth, because if you're like, I love that I've got money in my account to contribute to someone else's prosperity right now. If you actually still working on being fully in love with that, that's actually out of truth. So if you shift that statement to be like, I'm leaning into being in love that I have enough abundance there to add to someone else's financial prosperity, that's actually full truth, because you're leaning into it. You are getting comfortable with it. You are learning how to, right? So adding in those few extra keywords at the start is actually fuller in your truth, or it's actually 100% in your truth, because you are learning to do that. And once you are then in a place of more of abundance and do genuinely love contributing to someone else's financial prosperity when your money goes out, then you can pull out those extra words and be like, I love this, right? And similar to your statement, like every time I check my bank account, I'm like, oh, excellent, money's gone out. I love that I have money right there to pay for that person. And there's so much more left over. I love that.
Yes, it's choosing what you focus on and what's important to you. Like when I did my retreat and I wanted to spend money on gift bags. And what was really important to me in those gift bags was that I was supporting other small businesses, female-led small businesses, and buying gifts from them to put in the gift bags to give to other small business owners. And so for me, yes, it cost me like $1,000 in gifting, but at the same time, every single dollar of that went to other women in business. And so every single dollar of that felt fucking amazing to pay. Because I knew that that was the contribution I was making. But I also love that you brought up Telstra, because it's important to find a way to frame it that feels in alignment with your values, because I'm grateful that I can afford to pay for the best, I'm not going to say service in terms of customer service, but the best coverage, let's say.
Yes.
I can afford to pay for the best coverage in the country.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so grateful that I can do that.
Yep,
so
exactly.
There's so many ways to frame it. You've just got to find a way that's going to fit with what is true to your values and what you can believe.
Yeah, exactly. Because if there's an element of I'm actually not embodied with that, you won't believe it. Like,
won't believe it.
You don't buy into your own shit. Right? You need to actually.
You're told to stand looking in front of the mirror and be like, I love my body, but actually there's this part of you that's like, what? No, you fucking don't. When you're doing that work, I've always thought it just doesn't quite fit, because you're just going to have an argument with yourself internally. But just saying I'm learning to love my body, add that one little word in, it can completely shift, because yes, I am learning to love my body. I'm learning to accept as well that money flows, money comes in and money comes out. I'm learning to be grateful for paying Telstra. Sorry, Telstra.
We love you. We're trying to love you. We're trying to find ways to love you, Telstra.
Okay, so with all of this in mind, I know that people will be listening to this and go, oh my God, I need some of Alex in my life. Tell everyone listening how they can find you, connect with you, and what kind of things you have on offer.
Yeah, so I'm most active on Instagram. Who doesn't love Instagram? It is Alex_unscripted_. So follow me on there. I would love to see you there and personally connect with you. A program that I have at the moment is actually a fantastic gateway into actually learning what your money blocks are and your relationship with money. It's called Sacred Money Archetypes, and there's 8 different profiles, and this is where awareness precedes action, because there's 8 different profiles and you get to know your top 3 and the strengths, the weaknesses, some empowering statements, and you get to increase your knowledge and awareness about what your relationship actually is with money. There's a quiz that you do that gives you your profiles, and that is the starting journey to be like, oh, okay, cool, I'm a ruler, or I'm a maverick, and a maverick is a risk taker. That's what I am. Like, or a ruler is like the empire builder, for instance. Like, people want to follow them because they're visionaries, right? And it's like, it's like human design for your money relationship. So I've been training in that for the last 6 months, and it is so key. It's a beautiful gateway into leaning into building a healthy relationship with money, because you get a level of understanding, and then I can unpack from there to go like, cool, like what's your profile and what's your current reality, and let's move on from there. So hop onto my Instagram or onto my website to find out more about that. It is absolutely fantastic. The quiz only takes 8 to 10 minutes to do. And
I've seen you talking about the quiz. So you've got like a free quiz.
Yes.
That then leads into a program where people can get a better understanding of their archetype. Love that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I'll get you to send me the link and I'll put it into the show notes for people to just go to straight away.
Perfect. Will do.
Amazing. And how do people work with you? One-to-one? Is that the way that you work with clients?
Yes. Majority. I do have a program coming out in November, relaunching Her Way in a group capacity.
Cool.
But outside of that, it's called the Money Queen and the mini money magnet as well. So yeah, all that information is on my website. And I would love to support you in your money world, because as I said at the start, my mission is to generate more money in the hands of women. So because it literally goes further, we are amplifiers, and it gets to be our reality to have more money and to be able to hold more money in our world. So let's fucking make it happen.
Let's fucking make it happen. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here today and sharing your knowledge. I don't know how I'm going to choose one snippet. I think it's going to have to be multiple snippets when this comes out.
Sorry, not sorry.
Thank you, Alex.